Well, hello there, fellow geeks and geekettes. Today I've got a little update for you as far as my manga progress. If you've been watching my videos for some time, you know that I have just got into manga and that I have become completely obsessed by it. Um, Obviously, I haven't read much still, but I am really working on it very hard. I'm reading as much as I can. And time after time, I want to give you a little update um, about where I stand with manga, what I'm reading at the moment, how I like it, whether I like it or not. I will of course be discovering and rediscovering things that are not new, that many people know and many people have known for a long time. Many people that have been reading manga for years, for their entire lives maybe. Well, but it's new for me, so I find myself in this blissful and beautiful state when I am discovering beautiful things that I have never read before, and each and every time something that happens to a voracious reader, uh, it's heaven. And today I want to tell you how I found joy again, actually. I've been battling depression and dark thoughts and dark feelings for years now, and I have rarely been able to laugh honestly and sincerely from the depth of my heart. Like, I mean, a sincere laughter. You know, that kind of laughter when you almost force yourself to laugh. It's not really honest, it's not really sincere, just ha, oh yeah, yeah, oh ho ho ho. Yeah, no. I mean sincere laughter. I'm talking about something that comes out of you by itself and you can't control it. For many people, it might seem ridiculous that I'm talking about a sincere laughter like that, like it was something unnatural. Well, for me, it has been unnatural for a long time, and still is to a huge extent, but a couple of days ago, it happened to me for the first time in the longest while. I burst out laughing um, when I was reading what I now consider to be one of the best manga in the world, and I'm talking about the original Dragon Ball from the 1980s. Now, this is not a review. This is just my thoughts and my impression about the manga. Nor can I show you any physical copies of it. I have ordered the first 15 volumes, but in this day and age, the delivery system is very slow, very uncertain, and I think that the 15 volumes are going to arrive in 2 or 3 weeks. But I couldn't wait, so I bought a couple of the first volumes digitally, and I'm reading it digitally because I just couldn't wait, right? So I'm going to read a couple of volumes to please my inner reader, and then I'm going to force myself to wait for the rest of the series in paper. Now, I love fantasy. I've always loved fantasy. I've always loved escapism, and I have found that exactly in the original Dragon Ball. It's such a beautiful manga, such an innocent thing that, well, it's basically, look, I'm going to show you a couple of pages, the digital, from the digital file, right? So this is the cover of the first volume. Here's the protagonist on the cover, Son Goku, with Shenron, the dragon, and how do I do it? Yes, so you go back. This is some information about the author. This is the cover of the first chapter as it was coming out in the Shonen Jump magazine in Japan in the 80s, and this is the table of contents, and this is the first page, right? So Dragon Ball, I'm sure many of you know, is about a young boy named Son Goku, who for his entire life, he's 12 at this moment, in the book, he's been living in a jungle, in a forest, by himself, um, and just, living peacefully. He's been living with a certain magical ball that he's calling his grandfather, because his dead grandfather gave him the ball, and that's everything that is really left to him as far as his grandfather goes. So he lives in the jungle, he has fun, he works there, he hunts, he fishes, he just lives his simple and his very peaceful life in the mountains, in the jungle, not being disturbed by any people. When suddenly one day a visitor arrives in the form of Bulma, a girl, a young adventurer who is in search of the 7 magical Dragon Balls that, according to a legend, if you collect 7 of the Dragon Balls, a mystical dragon Shenron appears and grants you 1 wish. Then, afterwards, all the 7 Dragon Balls disperse to the 7 corners of the world, and you will not be able to use them or collect them in order to wish something from the dragon for another year. Now, of course, Son Goku and Bulma get to know each other, and they embark on a quest to find all the 7 Dragon Balls, so that Bulma can, wish for something, and that Shenron the dragon can grant her wish. By the way, her wish is to get a handsome boyfriend. I find it quite funny. So this is just a quick demonstration of the artwork. I don't know if you can see it, but it is really quite cute. Son Goku fishing, catching the fish. I love the artwork. It's of course black and white because it's manga. But it's so cute. Everybody is so cute in this. And it's so beautiful. Look at that. Right? So, the artwork being put aside, it is a typical quest story. A fantasy story where you've got the protagonists going somewhere to do something or to find something, and on the way meeting other characters that at first might appear like enemies or villains, and sometimes they are, but most of the times they meet somebody and they don't like him at first or like her, right? So they don't like each other, and then they become friends, and they join the protagonist, the new characters, and they continue on their quest together. So we meet characters such as Kame Sennin or Master Roshi, who then teaches Goku martial arts, because he is like the best martial arts master in the world. We meet Oolong, which is a shape-shifting pig. We meet Yamcha, another fighter. We meet Kuririn, yet another fighter. Son Goku himself is one of the best kung fu fighters in the world. But I'm sure that most people know this not only from manga, but from the worldwide famous anime, which I am planning on getting into, but first I want to read as much of the manga as possible. Of course, I know that there is a sequel series to Dragon Ball called Dragon Ball Z, which I want to get into as well once I finish Dragon Ball. So there's really a lot of material for me to read and to enjoy, and I couldn't be happier about that, because to get back to my original point, Dragon Ball is a book that is able to transport me to different places. I mean, out of reality, that can help me escape totally and completely, thanks to which I can forget about whatever is on my mind, about the dark thoughts that I've been having, or if I'm having any at the moment. And it is really a book that I am quite honestly looking forward to reading every day, each and every day. So I can't wait for the 15 volumes to arrive, because it's such fun. It's full of witty dialogue. It's full of beautiful art. The story is grasping. The story is interesting. The story is adventurous. It's even suspenseful. Um, Very often, when you're reading modern comic books or modern books, you know how it goes. Yeah, the stories and the plots. Most of the time, you know what's going to happen. Most of the time, you know that that particular protagonist is not going to die, or if the protagonist dies, he or she isn't going to stay dead for long. So you can predict certain tropes in comic books, but and books. But in Dragon Ball, I found myself really feeling suspense and being afraid for the characters, not necessarily for their lives, but the latest story that I read in Dragon Ball was a huge tournament in martial arts. In which Son Goku and his friend Kuririn and Master Roshi were involved. They participated in this martial art contest. And so they fought, and you know that usually you would really find that, or you would know that all the main characters, all the protagonists would probably win in the end, and it would be quite predictable. But as the tournament progressed, I found myself really feeling suspense, because nothing turned out to be the way I predicted to be. So not only is the book quite entertaining and cute and adventurous and very fitting and very good for escaping reality, but it is also suspenseful. And what I also like about it is the fact that the author, of course, in the 80s, but I believe that in most manga, authors aren't afraid of it nowadays either. They weren't afraid of being slightly politically incorrect, or they weren't afraid of slightly politically incorrect humor, or, as I said many times before, portraying female characters as female characters with distinctive female features that men or women find attractive. You know, Idealized versions of human beings as they have always been portrayed in fiction, in comic books, in manga, things like that. That is why we read these things, to escape reality, right? So no approved body type, nothing like that. It's just a fun ride, and it's just making me feel very good. It's making me feel very, very warm at my heart. So without going into detail brutally, without giving you any theses, without giving you any half an hour long or hours and hours and hours long monologues, I will just say that generally Dragon Ball, the manga, the original manga from 1980s, is making me feel very good at my heart. It's making me feel happy. Happy. Which is a word I have considered to be a fiction, a sci-fi for a very long time. And I'm glad that I have discovered manga. I am glad that I've started reading manga. I am unimaginably happy about discovering Dragon Ball, which I believe is going to be one of my favorite books of all time, forever. Even when I know that I am going to very likely discover more fantastic books, more fantastic comics, more fantastic manga. Um, Sometimes you just know that something is going to be one of your top, one of your favorites for the rest of your life. And I want to thank especially once again some of the fellas from the Omnibus Collectors group on YouTube who have been making live streams for a long time and talking about comic books and pop culture and manga, because they have been the ones who have been talking about manga and awesome manga titles for a long time, and who have finally made me read some of them and fall in love in manga, probably forever. So once again, thank you. There would be today's update on my manga status and manga situation. So if you are watching this video and have any recommendations for me, manga-wise or not, that I could read and enjoy and maybe discover some more joy in my life, feel free to do so. Feel free to type that into the comments section down below, and I will only be grateful. Or you can share your own favorite manga titles or comic book titles if you want. But that would be all from me, my friends. Now, Dragon Ball is fantastic. I love it. And I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.